Hi, my name's Johnny, and today we are taking a look at the affordable range from Sandberg, that being the Electra VS4. So Sandberg are a German company well known for their California series of basses. I don't quite know why they're called California when they're coming out of Germany. If you do know, let me know in the comment section below. But the Electra series is their affordable range, a bit like the Squier to the Fender. Similarly designed basses, but coming out of a different country. The Electra series comes out of Korea instead of their factory in Germany. Now the VS4 is obviously Sandberg's take on a P bass. In the Electra series they also do a jazz bass and the M4, which is kind of similar body shape to the P bass, but with a Music Man style humbucker in the bridge position. With all of these basses they are trying to roughly copy Fender's design, particularly with the precision and jazz bass. And when companies take this design and make it their own, it can be a real hit or miss situation. For Sandberg, I think it is a real hit. They have taken the original body shape, changed it up slightly to make it their own, and it still looks absolutely phenomenal whilst being recognisable as that style of guitar. I've actually had experience with the Electra series before. A couple of years ago I owned the older version of the M4 because I was really after a humbucking bass. I loved the red burst on it when I saw it in the store, and yeah, it just seemed like a great alternative to a Music Man at the time. And I really liked this bass. It played really, really well. I find with more affordable humbuckers, you don't quite get that Music Man sound that I was after and thought it could facilitate at the time. I still had a good time with that bass and fond memories of it. So the VS4, a lot of guitar for your money. So let's start at the top. It actually says on the back of the headstock, hand-selected components by Korean manufacturers, assembled and designed by Sandberg Guitars in Germany. So actually with these basses, the quality control shouldn't really be an issue because they're creating the parts in Korea and putting it all together and doing the final checks on it before sending it out to the public in their factory in Germany. Real attention to detail goes into these, putting these together even in their more affordable line, which is great to see. So we've got some fairly standard machine heads on here. These are really nice quality. I wouldn't have any issues with these, don't need to change them out. Got a bit of a bloody fish hook headstock, which I quite like. It's not everyone's cup of tea, it's a bit bulky maybe, but I quite like it. It's a subtle little change from your standard Fender P bass. 3-string string tree, and accompanied with this 0 fret here. This helps to eliminate any kind of fret buzz that you might get and really helps with a nice setup and playability of the bass. Subtle little thing, but actually really makes a difference. For me, often the A string is always the biggest culprit for fret buzz and things like that, so having that string tree on there and not just the lighter strings is a real bonus that this bass can provide. So, moving up the neck. Very Music Man style neck, I would say. It's not as wide as your traditional P bass at the nut, but it is a bit rounder and bigger to hold in your hand. So overall, offers a really comfortable playing experience, and I've been having no issues getting around this thing whatsoever. I really like it. One thing that might put some people off is that there are no fret markers, so no dot inlays, anything like that on the fretboard. This being the all black version, I think it really helps to make the bass look really slick. I never look at the fret markers anyway, so I'm always using the ones on the side, if at all. So it doesn't really bother me, but some people it might put them off. Moving upwards. On the back, we have a 6-bolt construction holding the neck in place there, which really adds to the sustain of the bass, and you can really feel that when you're playing. It resonates really nicely through the body here. Pickups. These are Sandberg's own pickups, and they're kind of a mix between a humbucker with the single pole piece magnets, bit like a Music Man, but they're split like a P bass. It's kind of similar to the cutlass bass that Music Man have been doing, which I would love to try. I'm praying this year that Sterling come out with a cutlass, because that would be awesome. Okay, then moving up to our controls, we have got a master volume which doubles as a push and pull to activate the active circuit, because there is a 9-volt battery in this bad boy. And then we've got a treble boost and cut and a bass boost and cut. Moving up to the bridge, I have a love-hate relationship with this bridge. I think it does a fantastic job and is really substantial, which helps with the tone. However, there are 6 holes for Allen keys on each saddle, which is a bit of a pain when you're trying to raise and lower it and move it back and forth to set up your intonation and your action. This bass was fine out of the box for me, so I haven't actually properly changed it in that way, because it's fine. So I don't really like that design quite as much as your standard screwdriver in the end and give it a good twist. So now let's have a listen to how this pickup sounds. So, as you can hear, some really interesting tones in this bass, I think. The 2-band active preamp isn't too much. I'm never a full bass, full treble person. I kind of like it just in the middle, maybe with them boosted just like a tight, like by like 1 notch, you know. There is a little notch in the middle of each knob, but this is a P bass copy. And does it sound like a P bass? Not really. To me, it sounds like a mix between a P bass and a Stingray that completely makes sense with the single pole piece magnets that you've got in there, just like a Music Man humbucker. The position of the pickup kind of takes it away from that Stingray sound, so it's kind of, while sounding nice, it's kind of nothing. The tone, like, it doesn't sound like a particular bass, and I don't know, I don't really like that. For me, my favourite tone is when you're bypassing the active preamp and just having it passive. I think it's got more character. You get more of that P-bass tone from just having it straight passive. And I guess that completely makes sense, really. Now, don't get me wrong, this still sounds awesome. And for some people, this would absolutely tick that box. It's naturally quite compressed sounding, and the balance across the strings is phenomenal. That open E, or D as I've got it, isn't too boomy. Often you get that where it's a bit out of balance, but this does a really good job at being really even across the strings and across the fingerboard. So one other thing to bear in mind, and that I think is a little bit disappointing about this bass, there is no master tone control. Now you've got your bass and treble, boost and cut, but when you're in passive mode, I was expecting one of those knobs to turn into a master tone, but this isn't the case. So if you like that passive tone and you want to dial that tone back a little bit, you can't do that with this bass. You have to put it in active mode and dial back some of that treble, which, for those who just want to run this passive, something to bear in mind. I think that's all I had to say, but I can't remember. Maybe. Let me know what you think. Let me know. Let me know what you think about this bass in the comment section below. As always, don't forget to hit like, subscribe, ring the bell. Thank you so much for watching. See you next time.